Okay, we're back with another Kami Shinzo fanfic reading. We're chapter 2 of Red Ribbons. I've already read this fic. It's made me cry. So, if you don't want to feel emotions, just don't read the last few parts. But anyways, let's get on with it. Chapter 2 of Red Ribbons. Third person POV. Something had captured the blonde's eye. In the far distance, on top of a hill, was a castle. Kaminari stared at it and rubbed his arms together. I better go check that out. Maybe they know how to get the hell out of here. Following with his plan, Kaminari walked along the dirt path that seemed to have faded a bit. The moon was set high in the sky, illuminating the blonde as he walked the path. Gusts of wind swished past and made Kaminari shiver. Glumly, he muttered, "Stupid wolves had to bite my stupid jacket, now I'm fucking cold." Since the path to the castle was pretty long, Kaminari decided the best thing to keep himself from getting bored as he walked along to the distance was to talk to himself, and that's exactly what he did. While walking, the blonde looked down at his bleeding hands. His breath hitched as another gust of wind swished by, the pain in his hands now rising. "My hands sting like hell, and so do the scratches on my knees. My arms? My neck? Fuck." Slowly, tears started to prick at the corner of his eyes, but he quickly wiped them away with an arm. Shaking his head and the feelings of suddenly wanting to cry, Kaminari decided to speed up his pace so that he can get back to the castle and ask for directions out of the forest so he can go back home. "Kaminari," Mina called out. "Stop hiding and come out." The group of friends decided to go into the forest together to look for their missing friend, who they were deeply concerned for. They all agreed that after finding the poor soul, they'd beat the crap out of him for scaring them, and then they'd apologize for sending him into the forest. "Guys," Shiro called out to his friends, his voice trembling, "what if Kami is really—" "Sero," Bakugo said sternly, shocking everyone. "Kaminari isn't dead, so stop being a fucking pessimist and keep looking for him." Kirishima stared at Bakugo and couldn't help but blush. If Kaminari getting lost meant a calm, collected, and might I add hot, Bakugo, he should have sent him away ages ago. "Yeah, what Bakugro said. Let's keep looking for him." Mina patted Shiro's back, and once he started to feel a bit better, they continued to look for the blonde. They kept looking for a little while, and then Mina came to a sudden stop. She walked over to a tree that was a few inches in front of her, and she bent down. The boys looked at her with confused looks on their faces. Mina grabbed the item, and then she turned around to face the boys. They all sweat a drop. She pulled out Kaminari's navy blue jacket, which was ripped and had claw marks on the back of it. "Isn't this Kaminari's?" The blood drained from everyone's faces. After what seems like hours walking along the dirt path, Kaminari had reached his end. His chest rose up and down, and he lifted his head to look at the tiny castle from miles away, which looked huge from inches away. The castle looked so pretty, and in rather well state, despite the fact that it was in a forest that no one dared to go into. If there was a way to describe it, Kaminari would say that the castle looked like something that came out of the Brother Grimm fairy tales. "Whoa," the blonde breathed out in awe as he kept staring at the magnificent building, the lights of the moon touching the gray cobblestone walls, creating a shadow below. 5 magnificent towers, almost in perfect square perimeter around the magnificent castle, connected by high, firm walls made from light red stone. Simple windows were scattered here and there across the walls in a seemingly random fashion in a pattern, along with a huge center arch of articularness. "Holy shit," Kaminari breathed out. "Now I really feel like I'm going to enter some fucking crazy fairy tale." He walked over to the sizable gates of the broad wooden doors as he reached the ball of the handle and knocked on the door. Knock, knock. No one answered. Knock, knock. Still, no one answered. Kaminari was about to knock on the door for a third time when the door suddenly opened. Kaminari stared weirdly at the door and then gathered up the courage to walk in. He could have just turned around and walked away, but no, he walked straight in. The blonde took a few steps in, cautiously. His vision hadn't adjusted to the sudden darkness around him, and there was no light guiding his footsteps, so he entered the castle, carefully. As if they had motion detection, the long chandelier of all the lights turned on one by one. Kaminari jumped and looked around at the sudden illuminated room. The blonde looked around and his eyes widened in surprise. He looked up and down and all around and stumbled on his own feet. Kaminari was standing on pearly white marble tile that was connected to a velvety colored wall. The walls were decorated with unique paintings, long curtains that draped from all sides, and the lights illuminated the design of the velvety walls. There were 2 corridors to each side of the massive stairway that was placed right in the center of it. "What the fuck?" the blonde breathed out and walked towards the small, empty table placed to his left. He let his fingertips tenderly touch the edge of the table as it picked up a small bit of dust. Kaminari turned his head and walked towards the grand piano. He inspected the instrument and noticed that there were long bits of dust on the keys. His fingers trailed along one of the keys, one of them accidentally pressing on the key and playing the note. "Oh shit," he cursed, the note echoing around the walls and ringing inside the blonde's eardrum. A loud creak was heard, and Kaminari turned his head to where the noise was belonging to. Up above, at the top of the staircase, opening a window, the window let in cold air and a bright light. Curiously, Kaminari left the grand piano and started taking the steps towards the bottom staircase. Before the blonde could take any steps further, footsteps were heard, and then Kaminari looked up and he saw a mystery figure standing at the top of the staircase. Who are you?" The blonde fixed his eyes on the man standing above him, gripping the rails of the stairs tightly in fear. And that was chapter 2 of Red Ribbons. Honestly, great chapter. But one thing I want to note, when Kirishima said he got turned on at how Bakugo was calm about the situation of Kami getting lost, and then made the comment of making Kami get lost further, that hit me so hard. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you guys are enjoying this fic as much as I am.